All right, we are back with Nema Brewer. She is with the American Federation of Teachers for Fayette County, also a former district employee for 18 years. We have got to discuss a few things, but I want to ask you about this upcoming battle for Mitch McConnell's Senate seat. Do you think,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's going to be a battle. Do you think that
hmm
Rocky is going to run? Is there a chance?
I'm not sure. I think that Rocky would be a good fit for the state. I think that, he's got his strengths. I think he's got his weaknesses as well. I think that the way to victory for in a statewide race, I think Andy Beshear has shown how you can thread that needle. I think that Rocky plays well in all those areas. And it's always good to wake up the 606, and so I think Rocky plays really really well in those areas too. I wonder if some of his stances on abortion in the past might play not so well with suburban women when we know those votes are incredibly important, especially in Warren County, Fayette County, Jefferson County, Boone County, Kenton. Those are huge voting blocks. That's the one thing that I'd like to hear more about from him, and if he's changed any opinions on that. But his opinion on it, I think that it's okay for people to change opinions on things because we're all humans. And if you don't continually educate yourself and talk to people who don't think just like you, like William, you and I have a deep respect for one another. And the reason why is because I value what you have to say. I learn from you, you learn from me. That's how actual relationships work in the real world, not on social media.
Right.
And, for me, I think that I'm all about listening to what people have to say, why they've changed, why they've grown. God help me. I think you've grown a lot in the last several years. I have too, I would hope. And, I just think that I think it would be a good fit if he wants to do it, like, cause it's going to be a dogfight. The real interesting thing is going to be on the Republican side.
Well, Rocky is not what I would consider a perennial candidate. Usually, he's
Right.
kind of below the fray because everybody likes Rocky no matter what. My
Right.
concern about the Senate race here, the Governor Bashir said he isn't going to run. We're
hmm
watching this, and it's pretty clear that he's going to run for president. How do you see that road for the governor getting to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Let me tell you, Andy is one of the best at what he does. Andy is one of those rare electeds, politicians who threads that needle between, you know, just being everybody's buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's buddy,
Yet
and
still
then
getting the
being
job
able
done.
to. But still getting the job done and making the hard calls. And I think ultimately people just want somebody to take responsibility and to make the hard calls, right? And then be willing to take the heat for those. And, Andy has done that. I know that I don't agree with him on everything. I don't agree with anybody on everything. But the thing is that he has this ability to communicate across party divide, and that is so rare right now in this country that I think Kentucky's going to hurt him a little bit because there are a lot of people who associate us with the last however many decades of Mitch McConnell's reign. I think that there are people that don't understand Kentucky, but I think there's people that are willing to give him a chance. Hell, they gave the little guy from Arkansas a chance, Bill Clinton. And I've changed my opinion on Bill Clinton on a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you, he got in office, and nobody thought a little guy from Arkansas could do it.
Well, I look at him, and one of the things that I feel, professionally speaking, is I truly feel that he dodged a bullet by not being selected as the former vice president's running mate. I think that would have ended
hmm
any chance he had at the presidency. Do you think he dodged that bullet by not being selected?
Well, I think anytime you're running as the second, then you're also tied to whatever, like it or not. And this hurt Kamala a little bit, being tied back to Joe Biden's policies, right? And the way that he did things. So I think anytime you're running in a second spot, right, where you also have to maybe bend what you normally would, how you normally would run, I think it puts you at risk because now you're tied to somebody who you might not want to be completely tied with only because of who they're tied with. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
one of those things. It's one of those things where I think that it would have been great to have had him in the vice presidency. It would have been amazing. But I also think it would have been a little bit harder of a row for him to be able to walk that line that he's been so great at walking, which is being a compassionate leader, one who might make mistakes but is going to shoot to you straight. And and I think that he's built that level of trust with Kentuckians. Now the question is, can he build that same level of trust with everybody else?